What's up, folks? Chrissy here with my second trimester pregnancy recap. I'm just gonna share some different symptoms that I had during that time. So, yes, let's get it popping. The second trimester is when I experienced my first food craving. Whatever. I didn't feel like I had a whole bunch of cravings during this pregnancy, but one thing I have been craving, and it's been since the second trimester, is spicy food with a red sauce. Red sauce and spice. That was it. That was it. There's a West African dish. I believe they call it stew, and I was killing it with white rice and a goosey soup. Like, that's what I was eating all the time. It never came out the wrong way, never. I would do like spaghetti and I would just like chug hot sauce.
I put that on everything.
It's crazy. Anything with red sauce that was spicy, I was here for. That was my first craving. I believe it's my only craving. If you ask my husband, he think I'm craving everything. I don't agree. I think my only craving has been spicy, red sauce. I'm in there like swimwear. Another symptom I had during the second trimester, similar to the first trimester, I talked about this as well, sleep discomfort, which kind of created a lack of sleep. Again, I tried the Bobby pillow. It worked a little bit, but it didn't give me the relief that I needed. So again, I just ended up opting to sleep in a chair. I did kind of end up using the Bobby pillow as pillows behind my back. Another thing that I experienced during my second trimester was a change in my bosom area. I didn't think they could get any larger. They started to. They did. I couldn't believe it. It's true. They get larger. And also some tenderness I would experience there as well. Also a change of color. It was really interesting. It started to darken. It was really interesting. So I asked my OB if it was, normal. I asked the internet if it was normal, and apparently other people have experienced this. All right. Hair and nail growth. I attribute this not so much to the pregnancy itself, but to the vitamins that I was taking, the prenatal vitamins. Taking them so consistently every day, I think that could attribute to like the hair growth and the nail growth and all that. Hair grew everywhere. I mean, on the face, I mean, everywhere. It's not just your hair up here on top of your noggin. Like, it grows everywhere. And my nails were just like popping, and still are. It's just like flowing from my cuticle. Cut. It's pregnancy problems. So hair and nail growth, definitely experienced that and noticed it second trimester. Another thing I experienced was numbing in my leg. If you don't know, I braid natural hair, relaxed hair, black hair, purple hair, blonde hair, white hair, all hair. No hair is excluded. I braid hair. While braiding hair, you stand or you can have to sit in like a stool. I noticed that my legs were very numb after 25-30 minutes. Be like, hey, wake up. Notice I had to kind of teeter-totter. I had to stand up for a few, sit down for a few, stand up for a few, kind of go back and forth there. I don't know if that's like a blood circulation thing. I asked my OB and she was like, yeah, sometimes that happens. I was like, okay. Does it happen sometimes? Does it happen all the time? She was like, you'll be fine. Also, I noticed my bump. I did not do the best job with documenting my baby bump. So when I was about, I'd say 22 weeks, I noticed, I'll insert a picture, I think it was around Mother's Day, kind of started like, oh, okay, I can see it's starting to come into form.
Now I'm starting to really come into form.
Again, I already had a little bit of love all over, little fluff. So maybe it was just hard for me to see that I had a bump. I don't know. I didn't really start noticing it until I was like a good 22 weeks. I also had some pains in my hip, like a sharp pain. I don't know what that was. I don't know if I could call that round ligament pain still, but it would just be like a sharp pain and then it would go away, and then it'd be like a stabbing pain in my hip. I don't know. I definitely experienced that second trimester. I remember feeling those. A decrease in my blood pressure. So definitely second trimester, I noticed that when I would go to my OB, and again, I was very mindful of my blood pressure, and so was my OB and midwife because of my family history with hypertension and my personal medical history with hypertension. We just definitely kept an eye on it, and there was an an absolute decrease in my blood pressure. And I don't know if that attributed to like the blood circulation thing, like where I was getting numb in the legs. I don't know, but it might all just be connected. Anytime I ask my OB anything, my midwife anything, they would say, yeah, you're pregnant. And I'd say, okay. I don't know. I also experienced a little bit of swelling towards the end of the trimester. I did stand up. I worked up until the end. I think I only took like the week I was due. I think I took that week off. And so I was standing a lot. I did sit as well, but I was standing, I was on my feet. So I did experience some swelling at the end of my second trimester. It wasn't anything that was concerning to my OB or to my midwife. I would just be very intentional about when I got home, putting my feet up, whether I'm, watch TV or read a book or get on Instagram or whatever, just for an hour or two. Even at night when I slept, if I noticed that it was a little bit more swelling than, before, just keeping them elevated. Another thing I experienced during my second trimester were baby kicks. And this was so exciting for me because I was waiting for them. I knew for sure I was feeling baby kicks at 22 weeks. I think I was feeling them before, but I didn't know what they were because this is my first pregnancy. And I knew because my OB would use the Doppler and she'd be like, you don't feel that? I'd feel a little boom boom and it'd be the kid like kicking. Yeah, 22 weeks is when I personally found out that these were kicks. I felt them, I could identify them, I knew what they were. Baby movement, if you will. So that was exciting, for sure. Another second trimester symptom, I talked about this in the first trimester as well, but that taste in my mouth. Bitter mouth, it was still there. It still is now. I mean, it's not as bad, but it was just a consistent, awful taste in my mouth. And it just sat on the back of my tongue the entire time. I don't know what it was. It wasn't like a certain food. It wasn't like, I don't know what it was, but that bitter mouth is real. Another symptom during the second trimester was just like the first, still feeling that tired, catnapping all the time for no reason, just being tired. I'm growing legs and limbs and toes and feet. Your body's just like canceled, you're tired. I was waiting for this boost of energy everybody talks about in the second trimester, like just this like, oh, I can just do all things, and honey, I didn't get that. I didn't get it. Like, where is it? Where's my boost? You know what I'm saying? So I didn't get the boost of energy. I was still tired, but I was also working like nobody's business. So it could have been both of those things too. Yes, still was very tired in the second trimester as well. As far as my OB and my midwife were concerned, my pregnancy went really well first, second trimester. They did opt to give me another glucose test, so I took that. My second trimester, which is when you're supposed to take it, I believe. I took that, came back great, which was wonderful. I also was supposed to be getting see if I wanted to get some genetic testing for the kid. My husband and I opted out of the genetic testing because it didn't seem to be a non-invasive option. I thought there was. I thought there was like you could take some blood and kind of do something there. The that they wanted to give me was invasive, and to me it wasn't worth it. I didn't want to do anything that could be invasive at that point in time, so did opt out of it. It was our decision that we made together, and yeah, we were at peace with it, we were cool with it, and it worked out. Those are my second trimester updates, trimester recap. Just all the symptoms that I was feeling and all that good stuff. Comment below, let me know if you felt any of these symptoms during your second trimester. Because, honey, this pregnancy journey is no joke. All right, folks, thanks for watching.